This is TWiT.
Okay, now Steve, here's the thing. Like, can we jump in a time machine and go back, say, 3 years? I was a big proponent when I was still helping out with IT for my organization of enabling two-factor authentication. And the big thing was, look, you all have phones. We're going to set it up so that you get an SMS to give you the second factor. It's super secure. It's easy for you to remember because you're always carrying your phone. You're never going to forget it. You're always going to have access to that second factor. I can't really say that anymore. I can't tell people to use SMS as a second factor because, as it turns out, it's even more insecure than I thought it was.
Not only that, but it's not a second factor. That's the crux of the problem. Remember, the whole idea of multi-factor authentication is an and conjunction between the factors, your password and a second factor, not or not instead of. And what's happened is, over time, this thing has changed. It's morphed into, I forgot my password, send me a text message. That's not second factor. That's multiple first factors joined with an or rather than an and. And it's weaker by definition. I mean, it's clearly weaker that if you have more different things you can use to authenticate and any one of them can be used, then you immediately reduce the security of the whole system to the weakest among them. And now we see that thanks to the problems with the signaling system 7, which is the international system that glues all of our telecom providers together, due to that, it is very vulnerable to interception. So what's happened is we've moved away from using this second factor as additional security to replacement security. And so thus what is in the news recently is that yet another set of researchers have demonstrated how people's Bitcoin, I think it was Coinbase wallet, an account could be compromised by using the SMS second factor on Gmail for account recovery. It should not be account recovery. It should be additional password verification. The idea being that you want to prevent password being brute forced. So you say, oh, they know the password, but now they also have to, rather than, oh, they forgot their password, so instead. So yes, it's not. It's second factor.
So it's a 1.1 factor. It's not even 0.1.
It's a 0.5 because it's less because you've reduced it to any of these can be used, and one of them is. I mean, this is worse than a password. Yes. Password, you at least have to try. You have to brute force. It might be a really good password, and then they can't get in. Now it's intercept the SMS message on the fly, and that's all you need in order to do multiple different accounts. It doesn't even matter if you have different passwords on your Gmail and your Coinbase account. No, because they're both using SMS. So one single exploit allows them to intercept the text messages being sent out. No, it's ended up, the whole system has just collapsed because it ended up being misused. It isn't multiple factor. It's semi-factor.
I've been following a project from a maker that I know. Met him at DEF CON like 6 or 7 years ago. He has created what is essentially a dirt box using a software-defined radio that is about the size of a laptop. Maybe like an old Toshiba laptop, and it's got all the power supply and everything that he needs to turn this thing on and start intercepting. And so I was asking him about, well, so what would you intercept with it? You would intercept calls. He goes, no, calls are boring. I don't care about calls. What I want is messages, because messages are easier to parse. They're easier for me to filter, and it's easier for me to look for exactly what I'm looking for. Yeah. And he couldn't turn the thing on because, of course, you get into trouble anytime you're going to do that. And he actually is a bona fide researcher, but he was trying to show me how easy it would be for him to, say, walk into an office and just wait for SMS messages to start rolling into his dirt box. And that's a little scary, honestly, because it could happen in real time. This is not one of those hacks that takes someone time to set up or maybe social engineer themselves into a place where they can get in the middle. This is literally someone walking by your office, and 30 seconds later, he's got a data file filled with, in the clear, passwords.